Most cruisers believe you can only be denied boarding if your documents are wrong. That is no longer true. In 2026, passengers are being stopped at the terminal for something far simpler: what they're wearing. Not ship dress codes, not dinner attire. Actual boarding refusal before they ever step on board. Security now treats certain outfits as safety risks, legal violations, or conflict triggers. And once check-in stops, the ship does not wait. People are finding out at the counter: passports valid, bags checked, vacation paid, while the line keeps moving without them. And the dangerous part? Several of these outfits are completely normal travel clothes. If you pack one of them, you won't fix it at the port. You'll watch your cruise leave without you. So let's go through the clothing that can end your trip before it begins. Number 1. Swimwear or bathrobes at embarkation. Embarkation day feels like vacation, but legally the terminal is not part of the cruise yet. It's an international checkpoint, closer to airport security than a resort entrance. Arriving in swimwear or a bathrobe is treated as improper entry into a controlled facility. Passengers get stopped because port authorities require public-appropriate attire before documentation begins. Staff cannot process your boarding if you're dressed for the pool instead of travel. In Miami, a couple arrived straight from a hotel pool wearing cover-ups over swimsuits, assuming they would go directly to the ship. They weren't even allowed into the building. They had to leave the terminal, find clothing, re-enter the security line, and lost their boarding window. Their check-in group closed while they were gone. Dress like you're boarding a flight. Change on board, not before security. Number 2. Political extremist messaging apparel. Political opinions are allowed. Political escalation is not. Clothing supporting extremist ideology or aggressively confrontational slogans can trigger refusal before boarding for safety reasons. Passengers are denied because cruise ships operate as confined international environments. Preventing conflict starts at the terminal, not after departure. A traveler once arrived wearing a highly provocative slogan referencing violent political rhetoric. Security supervisors intervened immediately and required a change of clothing before allowing check-in to proceed. The solution isn't censorship, it's practicality. A cruise ship is closer to a floating city than a public street. Neutral clothing avoids becoming the reason your vacation stops before it starts. Number 3. Excessively ripped or revealing clothing. Fashion becomes a legal issue when clothing crosses into public decency regulations. Large tiers exposing undergarments or upper thigh areas are classified by some ports as inappropriate entry attire. Passengers aren't judged for style. Security must enforce municipal standards before allowing access to immigration checkpoints. In Barcelona, a traveler wearing heavily shredded jeans exposing most of the upper leg was stopped after passport verification, but before security clearance. She was removed from the processing line and told to change before rejoining. Except the line had grown to over an hour long by then. She boarded, but her luggage had already been loaded separately, and her cabin wasn't ready when she finally reached the ship. If it would look questionable inside a government office, don't wear it to the port. Number 4. Offensive or aggressive language clothing. Cruise lines screen behavior before boarding begins. Clothing displaying profanity, threats, or aggressive language can trigger intervention because ships must prevent onboard conflicts before departure. Passengers get held because conduct policies apply at check-in, not after sailing. In Seattle, a passenger wore a shirt containing explicit wording meant as humor. The agent paused processing and called a supervisor. The guest was required to change before boarding continued, but the delay escalated. Their luggage had already been separated for secondary review due to the incident. They spent embarkation afternoon resolving a situation caused entirely by a t-shirt. Neutral clothing at embarkation prevents security escalation. Number 5. Clothing impersonating crew, military, or police. Uniform-style clothing is treated as a security risk in international transport zones. Anything resembling authority, captain outfits, airline uniforms, tactical gear, requires identity verification before processing. Passengers are stopped because impersonation vulnerabilities must be resolved before boarding clearance. In Southampton, a guest wearing a realistic captain costume for a birthday cruise triggered a security escalation. Supervisors verified identification, delayed processing, and temporarily halted their group's check-in lane. By the time verification finished, final boarding group numbers were already being called. The entire party had to rush directly on board, without completing onboard reservations they had planned for embarkation afternoon. Costumes belong after sailing, not before the gangway. Number 6. Clothing with cultural or religious insensitivity. This is where cruise lines intervene directly before conflict can exist on board. Clothing mocking religion, nationality, or culture can trigger denial under guest conduct policies. Passengers get stopped because the contract allows the line to refuse boarding to prevent foreseeable disputes. In Vancouver, a passenger wore a parody religious costume intended as humor for friends. A supervisor reviewed the clothing and determined it violated conduct standards for a multinational sailing. The passenger was required to change before boarding authorization was issued. Had alternative clothing not been available, boarding would have been refused. Embarkation attire should be neutral. Ships prevent problems before departure, not after. Number 7. Camouflage clothing in restricted ports. This one catches experienced cruisers off guard because it isn't a cruise rule, it's a national law. Several Caribbean countries prohibit civilians from wearing camouflage patterns. The law applies the moment you enter port jurisdiction, including the terminal. Passengers get stopped because local officers operate inside the cruise terminal alongside ship security. The cruise line cannot override them. In Nassau, a retired veteran wore camouflage cargo shorts to board a Caribbean itinerary. He was stopped before security screening and instructed to change clothing before entering the facility. His luggage had already been tagged and sent inside, so he had to leave the port, purchase replacement shorts, and re-enter from the beginning. Boarding continued without him while he restarted the process. Never wear camouflage to the port, even if the restriction applies only ashore later. Number 8. Metal-studded or spiked clothing. Security scanners classify large spikes, studs, and heavy chain accessories as potential hazard items. At airports, you might remove them. At cruise terminals, they often require repacking before entry. Passengers get delayed because they cannot pass screening with protruding metal objects in crowded embarkation zones. In Los Angeles, a passenger wearing a spiked leather jacket repeatedly triggered alarms. Security required it to be removed and placed in checked baggage, but the luggage had already been handed off. The bag had to be retrieved from the loading area, reprocessed, and rescreened. Their boarding group closed during the process and they entered during final call. Wear simple travel clothing through security. Pack statement fashion inside luggage. Number 9. Face-obscuring clothing preventing identification. Before boarding, staff must match your live face to your passport photo. Anything blocking facial recognition stops the process immediately. Passengers get halted because biometric confirmation is mandatory for international departure clearance. In Rome, a traveler wearing a full fashion face covering refused to remove it in the public line. Security paused the entire checkpoint and arranged a private verification room. The delay backed up processing long enough that several passengers, including that traveler, were moved to manual clearance. Manual clearance is slower and handled last. Be ready for brief identity verification at checkpoints. It is not optional in any port. Number 10. Drug-related or cannabis imagery. Even where marijuana is legal locally, cruise terminals operate under federal maritime and international narcotics policies. Visible drug imagery triggers suspicion-based screening. Passengers get flagged because clothing can justify secondary inspection under security protocols. In Port Canaveral, a traveler wearing a large cannabis leaf hoodie wasn't denied, but was pulled for full bag inspection and questioning. The process took long enough that final boarding announcements began while security was still clearing them. They boarded minutes before cutoff, after watching most passengers already on board. Avoid drug-related apparel on travel day. It invites inspection you cannot speed up. Number 11. Refusal of private religious verification. Cruise lines accommodate religious garments, but they cannot waive identity confirmation. If a passenger declines private same-gender verification, staff cannot complete embarkation. Passengers reach a standstill because boarding authorization legally requires confirmed identity. In Dubai, a guest initially declined private screening offered by port authorities. Processing stopped entirely until a supervisor intervened and explained the legal requirement. By the time verification finished, boarding priority windows had passed, and the family boarded near final call under escort processing. Not denied, but one step from it. Accept private verification procedures. Ports provide privacy, not exemption. Number 12. Clothing exposing private areas. Cruise terminals follow local indecency laws, not cruise dress codes. If clothing exposes areas legally defined as private, including certain sheer fabrics, boarding must be refused until corrected. Passengers are flagged because security personnel operate under Port Authority law enforcement rules. They cannot simply look the other way. In Galveston, a passenger wearing a sheer beach dress over minimal undergarments believed she was dressed for warm weather. She was politely asked to step out of line and return wearing proper coverage before she could continue. The solution is simple. If it wouldn't be allowed inside a government building, it won't be allowed in a cruise terminal. Number 13. Excessive jewelry that cannot clear security. Large quantities of metal jewelry can prevent scanners from clearing a passenger. If alarms cannot be resolved safely, security must escalate screening. Passengers get held because unresolved scans require manual inspection protocols. In Miami, a traveler wearing multiple heavy chains and metal bracelets repeatedly failed screening. After several attempts, officers performed a full secondary search and bag inspection. During the process, their luggage continued on board, but they remained in screening long enough to miss their assigned boarding group. They boarded under late processing status, delaying cabin access and dining reservations. Pack valuables in carry-on bags and pass security cleanly the first time. Number 14. Barefoot or unsafe footwear. Footwear is a safety regulation, not a dress code. Boarding ramps are considered industrial walkways. Ports cannot legally allow passengers into controlled areas without secure shoes. Passengers are stopped because liability rules require stable footwear before entering the gangway zone. In Fort Lauderdale, a guest walked from a nearby hotel wearing disposable spa sandals. Security denied entry past screening. By the time he returned with proper shoes, his boarding group had already been called, and priority boarding had closed. He boarded last for his time slot and waited nearly 2 hours before luggage delivery. Wear secure walking shoes during embarkation. Pack sandals, don't wear them. None of these situations happen because people are reckless. They happen because cruising now operates under airport-level security and international port regulations, and those rules are enforced long before you see the ocean. The smoothest embarkations aren't luck, they're preparation. If this saved you from a stressful terminal surprise, subscribe. Every week we break down the small cruise details that make the biggest difference between a relaxed vacation and a very expensive mistake. And tell me in the comments, which one surprised you the most? Because the rule that surprises you is usually the one that catches people at the port. Until next time, smooth boarding and happy cruising.